Hello everyone and welcome to Victoria 3. So we're going to be starting a new game today, Austria as an Ironman campaign, and just sort of, embarking and seeing what we can do as this, somewhat struggling power. So Austria starts off at the beginning of Victoria 3 in an interesting situation. We're sort of, we have a lot going for us, but a lot that's also a bit challenging. So just to go through the starting situation a little bit, our literacy is 33.9%, which isn't bad, but isn't great. Importantly, though, in Victoria 3, literacy is it incentivizes populations to, pops, I guess, to change jobs, but it also caps your innovation, and our innovation is underneath our cap, so we can improve that, bring that up a little bit. Our GDP is okay, but not spectacular, and our standard of living is okay, but again, not spectacular. We are no Great Britain at the start. And our population itself is relatively large if we look at the nations of the world. And sort by population, we are in fact fourth, and that gives us a pretty decent base. We can build some farms, build some factories, things like that. In terms of research, we're a little bit behind, and the most hazardous way that we're behind, I think, in terms of industrialization, is we have no railways. So first priority will be mechanical tools and railways, but then also we're a little bit behind on military technology, no shell gun, no general staff, no percussion cap, and our society research, we really need pharmaceuticals in order to get some sort of healthcare system to start pushing that population growth up even further. So in terms of our resources, paper is expensive. If we take a look at market prices, groceries are a little expensive, which will drive down cost of living. Paper and tools, furniture, it's honestly a pretty balanced market at the start, which, I will struggle a little bit to keep it balanced as we move on. But our construction tab as well, 44 if we switch to iron frame buildings, which we should, is really not horrible. We are going to be pushing that up further. But we also have a unique problem. So Austria has to deal with the matter of Hungary, and we need Hungarian not to be discriminated against. So in order to do that, we'll have to change our laws. Where is it? Let's see. Yes. So national supremacy is what is oppressing our Hungarian brethren here. So we need some sort of more tolerant laws, and multiculturalism would be ideal as well. But probably the most oddball thing I intend to do with this game is I want to try to take us a little bit colonial, and in part that's because later technologies will need resources that we won't have available to us in mainland Austria or in any of our immediate conquest targets, I suppose. In addition, we will be trying to form the nation of Germany, so we need to take, South German territories, North German territories. This will put us in direct conflict with Prussia and Prussia's goals. So let's go ahead and get started then with diplomacy, and the first thing we're going to do is we're going to change some of our declared interests. I don't care about the Dnieper. I also, right now, don't care about southern France or Spain. Instead, I would like to get some interests established in Africa, and you know what, we'll even remove the Ottomans and we'll get South Africa as well. And this will just help us get some colonial progress once we have that technology done. So in order to get colonial policies, let's see, we could switch to colonial exploitation or colonial resettlement. Resettlement does improve migration attraction, but exploitation, I think, does give better throughputs. Yes. So it depends on, what we want to have going on there, if we want a lot of goods or if we want just a lot of migration. Now, you could argue colonial resettlement's probably better for population growth, but we have more support, potentially, for colonial exploitation. So what we need to do is we need to get industrialists and armed forces to do this, and that brings us to government. So our laws are pretty progressive for the time. We have freedom of conscience, we have a professional army, which is nice, not progressive, but certainly nice. Interventionalism is very nice. Per capita taxation, pretty good income from that, to be honest. Public schools, which is, that's better education access and assimilation. We should try and drive that forward as best we can. But in terms of our current government, we have the aristocracy, armed forces, and intelligentsia. We need to bring in industrialists, so I'm going to start off just by reforming the government, and we're going to kick out the intelligentsia and bring in the industrialists. So a small boost in legitimacy, a small uptick in radicals is not a good thing, but, I kind of have to deal with that for right now. And now our success chance for colonial exploitation is, well, 1 in 4, which is okay. Disappearing interest is fine, we did that, and we will have a bureaucratic shortfall. But first, let's deal with taxation. So, this is always a little bit challenging. I don't really care about armed forces or governments, well, intelligentsia interest groups at the moment, in terms of increasing their influence. We're going to be taxing services, and we're going to be taxing something else that's highbrow, so I don't really want to put any stress on our underclasses, because life is already hard enough. So maybe let's do luxury clothes, seems like a good thing. And then we're going to be going up to high taxes for right now. We're making a lot of money doing this, but the reason for that is we need to immediately get a couple of construction sectors built, and along with that, we'll need to increase our iron mines, so that means Styria and Bohemia, but we're going to, yes, let's sort of alternate these a little bit and get more iron in Bohemia. That's fine, and we'll also need to, of course, get more tools, so that can also be in Styria. Now, the reason that I said that railroads is as much of a problem as it is, well, actually, let's do other diplomacy first. We're going to make nice with France, Russia, and the British. Reason being, I expect to be in conflict with Prussia. I don't really care about conflict with the Ottomans, but I need these guys not to intervene against me once that happens. We also will damage relations with Bavaria and Saxony to allow us to potentially push those conquest targets later on, although not quite yet. That should be good. We have a little bit of that left over, and we also have some authority left over, so we can enact a couple decrees. Let's see, assimilation and conversion, education access. Might be good to get education access going. Let's take a look at where we have our, and I know we haven't unpaused yet, but that sort of just is how it is here. So we have 2 universities in Austria and Bohemia, so let's go ahead and promote social mobility in those 2 states, and we'll also promote some national values. It'd be nice to get some of our larger populations assimilated, so we'll do that in those same 2 states, just sort of bring them into the fold. Okay, that should be good enough to unpause at least, and let's get things going a little bit. Alright, so the goal with colonization, let's see, the French are already colonizing here, British in a couple places. That's going to be a challenge, honestly. We might be better off going down to South Africa, although Cape Colony is going to be a problem there. I would like to go to the Ivory Coast a little bit. It could be pretty rich. But let's see, and this income will drop as we build a couple more construction sectors, so yeah. Okay, so long-term goals. Let's talk long-term goals. One of the things that I noticed is easy to overlook in this game is military supplies, and if your military supply drops when you're at war, you're toast. Your men are going to be fighting below peak efficiency, you're going to be, halving your offensive and defensive capabilities. And that's something I don't want to have happen. However, Austria has the potential for a fair amount of iron and tools, coal, things like that. If we take a look, I think resources, coal mines, yeah, we have all of these spaces available for coal. We have a couple, I guess Venice for sulfur is not bad. Lots of room available for iron mines and even lead. So the goal is to flood everyone else's markets with cheap iron and cheap coal. Now you may be thinking, won't this help them build up? Yes, it will. But as soon as we go to war, they risk losing all of that. And if we yank the rug out from under their iron and tools supply, their barracks will stop, their factories will stop operating at peak efficiency, which means that their arms factories will stop operating at peak efficiency, which means they'll have an arms shortage, which means we'll be able to fight them easily. So, it may even discourage them from going to war, as they will have a national interest in maintaining good trade relations. Now, the high taxes that we have going on is going to drive up radicals relatively quickly. We also will have a couple loyalists. We could, I guess let's discuss the matter of Hungary. This is something that's best to complete early. However, if we go too early, we'll have too many radicals and we'll have a rebellion. So the goal is get prosperous, start doing, some consolidation here, maybe probably not much before we solve the matter of Hungary. We need to be multicultural basically before we push outward, because we have to handle our own home affairs, before we could reasonably expect to take on more responsibilities. So that means expanding industry, it means bringing up the quality of life a little bit. We can see immediately building those construction sectors has spiked the cost of iron and tools, but we also need to have good grocers available. We need to build out a couple of farms to get people away from subsistence farming. Right now, 2.4 million employed, 8 million peasants. It's a better ratio than Russia, but that's about it. I think France and Great Britain both have a better ratio for this than we do off the bat. However, we do have a couple, Venice is available for silk plantations, that could be pretty nice. We could also get some wheat farms for the wine, because wine is a very valuable export. This is why we also want colonial, because this is not a wide variety of agriculture. And, I've played a lot of Russia leading up to this just because I think it was an interesting challenge, but they have a lot more agricultural options. Okay, so we can either increase migration attraction, but radicalize people in East Galicia for 5 years. We don't have a lot of migration attraction anyway, so I don't think that'll do much. Let's drop the approval there, because if we take a look, industrialists approve us at +6. The important breakpoints are 5 and 10, so that really doesn't hurt us too badly for right now. I am a little worried about the increase in radicals, but that's what we have to deal with. We also have 35 troops in reserve, looks like Danubia and South Germany, so let's take a look at those commanders. Danubia is Heinrich von Hesse. I don't particularly like him. I really like the offensive experts, defensive experts, because they directly modify your stats on the battlefield. So it's Danubia, and which one? Where's the other? Let's get rid of this unproductive trade. There we go. So it was Danubia, and it was South Germany. So our South German commander is Josef Radziecki. Sounds kind of Russian, actually. No, South German. Okay, supply requisitions. Yeah, I don't particularly love that. So, okay, we can see right away our income has dropped like a stone, and that's because of input goods shortages of iron and tools. We are working on that right now with iron mines and tooling workshops. We'll probably need a couple more. So let's go ahead and do another 2 of those in Styria and another iron mine in Bohemia. Now, the reason that it's bad that we are short of railroads is because we're very quickly going to overwhelm our market access in these different locations by building so many concentrated factories. I want to keep things organized, and because of that I want to build similar buildings in the same state. But building up too high in one state can cause quite a problem. If you lose market access, you lose proportional throughput on whatever factories you have to market, and you may as well have not built the factories in the first place. So we really need to get... did I not pick a technology? Oh, I'm an idiot. Okay, mechanical tools. Oh, did we get any stored up? We might have gotten some stored up progress there, but a bit of a mistake on my part in that regard. Not terrible, but not great. And once we get these goods prices down a little bit, we might be able to build a couple more construction sectors. Also, right now we should be... Yes, we're taking a 5% penalty to construction because we don't have those goods available, both for iron and tools. So, a lot of industrialization... easy for me to say. A lot of industrialization first, and then we'll follow with building out and bringing people's quality of life back up, as this will drop a little bit, just, people don't love working in factories, as it turns out. Who would have thought? Okay, let's keep an eye on the colonial game as well. So, Portugal, sorry about that. Portugal has a lot of stuff in the southern section. I don't mind fighting them, though, because, let's be honest here, that's pretty pathetic. I'd rather get into conflict with Portugal than I would basically anyone else, unless they have a good ally. Defensive pact with Great Britain, but no alliance. Okay, so let's take a look at alliances. I haven't really done much of that, and the reason is I don't want diplomatic plays. No, diplomatic actions. I don't want to do trade deals with anybody, and it's kind of hard to get alliances without lots of trade deals. I don't want our market to be open to other markets at the start. can bring up a lot of lopsided trade and a lot of problems getting things going. So, yeah, just don't want to deal with it right now. It's fine. Let's not even export any wine. I want that to be cheap to keep people happy, as we do get more and more radicals. A little concerning. Raising concerns again. Let's drop the aristocracy influence. So the idea is we need to get more tolerant. We need to sort of become more liberal, more free. And the aristocracy will oppose this. So dropping the aristocracy's influence from, 39% is pretty damn high, will be a key section in achieving that. We also will have to handle the upcoming bureaucratic shortfall, because as soon as we have colonial exploitation, we will require more bureaucracy than we currently have available. So, alright, that's all. I think that's it for right now. That's all we've got for you guys today. Thank you all for hanging around. We'll see you again real soon.